Did you know that stretch styles can grow your natural hair? This is because stretched hair prevents single knots from forming, leading to less breakage and visible hair growth. And this is what we call length retention.
My method of stretching my hair out is solely to be more manageable and get product evenly distributed, because when it is like this in this state, it cannot get from my roots to my ends easily at all.
More and more people have been relying on stretching hair methods for more length retention. And I've been trying to figure out why is that. We're going to be diving into all things hair stretching today. Why it's beneficial, different styles to try. But first, let's start off with a little bit about my hair journey. A few years ago, I began a journey of wearing my hair without extensions. When I decided to go completely weave-free due to a conviction I had, I knew I would be starting from ground zero on how to care for my hair properly. So I did what any normal do-it-yourself girly would do, and I went to YouTube to search Natural Haired Girlies along with straight Natural Haired Girlies. Over the past few years, I have experimented with all kinds of hairstyles. I have worn wash and goes, stretch twist outs, braid outs on wet hair, mini twists. I got color in my hair and more, and I noticed something. My hair does best when it's stretched with minimal product. I know so many get great results with keeping their hair in protective styles, but I've always thought, what's the point of growing my hair long if I can't wear it down how I like? I like loose hair, and I always have. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Gwen, for those of you who are new here. Today we are talking all things hair. So if you follow my blog, you know that I recently wrote a blog post a few weeks back on stretch styles, my favorite kind of stretch styles, the benefits of stretching your hair. I have videos that I had up about me going on a weave-free journey. About 3 years ago, I think it was 3 years ago at this point, so I got convicted for wearing hair extensions.
I had watched a documentary, like the Good Hair documentary, over. It didn't really do anything for me when I watched it a while ago. I also think when I first watched it, I wasn't really a Christian, but this time when I had watched that documentary, I remember seeing like the Indian hair being like shaven off the Indian women and sacrificed to their gods, and something about like that story kind of like stuck with me because I was not wearing Chinese hair anymore. I would literally tell people only raw Indian hair, that's the only kind of hair extensions you should be putting in your head basically.
Because before that, I was the type of girl to wear hair extensions back to back to back.
I've never been a wig girl. I've always been a sew-in, clip-in, tape-in, microlink kind of girl. I always wanted people to never be able to tell that I was wearing extensions. And it got to a point of like being an obsession. I don't like a bulky sew-in. I like for my sew-ins to be crisp, you can't tell, very versatile. If I was going in the pool, I wanted my hair to curl up like my own natural hair where no one can tell. And to be honest, this whole journey of always trying to make my hair look as natural as possible kind of made me think like, why don't you just wear your own hair? Like, you have this obsession with making your hair look as natural as possible. You do not want people to be able to tell. Why don't you wear your own hair and it will be natural as possible?
I would not even go 2 days in between my last install to getting a new stall. And I did the same routine for 10 years. And I knew that I was starting from ground zero. Before this, I never really needed to learn how to work with my hair because I was getting weaves back to back to back. And when I did wear weave, I was normally straightening it. So I never really needed to learn how to care for my hair until I got that conviction. Okay, after I got that conviction, I'm like, I need to know what to do with my hair. And so I did what any person would do. I went to YouTube, I went to Instagram, and I started looking up girls with similar hair textures as me who had goals that I wanted. I was looking up girls who wore their hair natural, girls who wore their hair as a straight natural, because at the time my hair was in a very awkward length. I knew I did not want to wear my hair curly because the shrinkage was real. So I ended up doing more straight natural styles. But over the time, I learned how to care for my hair. I started learning, okay, heat is not terrible for your hair, which we'll get into. It's just how often you use it. I started learning what products to use. I started learning that my hair likes a lot less product. I started learning about these things. And I noticed after looking up a lot of women, I would see their hair growth journey. I started to notice a trend amongst these women, and that is a lot of them stretch their hair.
My hair loves being stretched, or I have found my hair easier to manage. And what I mean by that is when it comes to tangles and single strand knots. So I have been loving stretched hair.
So hair stretching is basically when you elongate the hair, and it can be done via twist outs or braid outs. It could be done with the blow dryer. It can be done straightening. It can be done with African threading. It can be done a number of ways, but the idea is to elongate the hair. And there are plenty of benefits why stretching the hair leads to more length retention. If you guys have curly, coily hair like I do, then you know our hair tends to kind of curl up on its own. That's what it wants to do naturally, and that's beautiful. But as a result, it can be more prone to dryness because when you have curly, coily hair texture, the sebum. For those of you who don't know, sebum is a natural oil constantly produced by your sebaceous glands. Some people think that it's beneficial and some people don't. I personally do. Is having to go through the curls instead of just like easily sliding down, which you guys know the ends are the first to go, at least for me, when my hair breaks or if it's damaged. So that is why people find a lot of success when they stretch their hair. Stretch hair is easier to detangle. My hair is prone to single strand knots and lots of tangles. And when it is in a stretch state, I get a lot less of that. And that can really help with length retention because single strand knots for me, I'm cutting those things. Every time I see it, like I'll just look at my hair sometime, especially after having bleach blonde highlights at one point, and I'm like, actually, I see something right now. I'm like, it's got to go. So I end up getting very scissor happy because I'm like, single strand knots, tangle. Can I untangle that? So stretching the hair helps you get a lot less tangles and knots, which in return, you don't have to cut as much. It also helps with less breakage. Something personally for me that I notice when my hair stretches, I have to do a lot less manipulation. And when I say manipulation, I just mean getting to the style that I desire. So if I want to put it in a bun for the day, if my hair is curly, you guys know curly hair, you have to, at least I do. Some people, they don't like maybe brush through the whole hair or get it detangled, but I like to work with my hair detangled when I'm styling. You have to work through it slowly to get all those tangles out. And even then, right after you detangle it, she's already curling back up. She's already going at it again. And so it's like brushing, getting it into a bun. And when your hair is in a stretch state, it's a lot less that you have to do to style it. When you have curly hair, I mean, you have to handle your tresses with lots of care. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Like that is a beautiful thing to do that. We shouldn't be rushing. Like, you know what? Side note, I wanted to bring up this TikTok because I wanted to give my thoughts on this.
She said having heat damaged hair makes her life easier. Y'all wondering how they got us. Y'all wondering how they got us so good. I'm not gonna act like I didn't just wake up a month ago and realize I love my hair the way it is and I'm tired of changing it. Yeah, that was me. But now that I'm here, it's like a light judgment because it's like I was just there.
I don't know if she's talking about straightening the hair. Obviously, if she's talking about straightening the hair, your girl has her hair straight. So we're not talking about that. But we are going to go to the comments. Someone in the comments put, convenience is a bait trap of oppression, and it's also the ingredient for a life that can be simple, not always, but it can. Know the difference. Strawberry. And I put this. That's why fast food is so popular, but can be deadly. Quick and convenient isn't always the way to go. Good things take time. I feel like a lot of the time, especially when it comes to hair, we are wanting to make everything so quick and do things in a hurry. And like, you know, I don't want to spend time on my hair, so I'm just going to go and get it in twist. And granted, you know, if you're in that kind of season, more power to you. You can do that. That is the freedom that we have. But I realize it in my own life. Why am I always trying to speed through things? Like convenience isn't always better. And as a homemaker, that's why I go through great lengths to cook food from scratch for my family. I put care into everything that I do. And I want to put care into taking care of my hair as well. I don't always want to treat it as something that I can't afford to spend any time on. I wanted to bring that up because I don't think that we should always be looking for a quick and simple fix. Sometimes I think having things that are super convenient, having things that are super quick, it's not always the best. Sometimes it is good, and sometimes for a season it's okay, but always looking for convenient. That's how you end up doing things that could potentially ruin you. So now that we talked a little bit about the benefits of stretching the hair, less breakage, More sebum can travel down the hair shaft, less knots and tangles, which in return causes less breakage. Now we're going to get into some of the styles that you guys can implement and that I will be implementing this spring. Having a longer face, okay, I have a longer face than it is wide. I like a volume. So I've been really leaning into the fluff, into the texture, into the body, you know, and right now it is straightened, which I do consider this a stretch style. We're going to get into that through one of my points, but I have been wearing my hair mainly in heatless stretch styles. I have been really leaning into the volume, you know, it makes my hair, I don't know, I think it flatters me a lot better. And so as a result, I have been finding different type of stretch styles. Some of them involve heat, like a flat iron. Some of them involve blow dryer. And then of course, you guys know you can do the heatless blowout method. First, we're going to mention the twist out. You can do a twist out or braid out on wet hair and it's still considered a stretch style because you're elongating the hair. I have tried both. I prefer a twist out on pre-stretched hair. Now, normally when I do my twist outs, I don't use any heat. I have recently tried it with a blow dryer and the results were less tangling throughout the week because I do retwist my hair during the week. I know some people can get a twist out, especially if it's on wet hair. You can do a twist out on like a Monday and it can take you to like a Friday. My favorite way of doing it is on a heatless blowout, and that's how I wear my hair. And I will twist maybe once throughout the week, but every night I do put my hair in like some kind of plaits. I don't sleep with my hair out freely. Pineapple, I don't do all that. Doesn't really work for me. So I have learned I have to be okay with putting in a little bit of time in the evenings for my hair. I know if I want to wake up with nice hair, I have to go to bed with at least 4 plaits unless I have a ton of product. Now, if I have a ton of product in there, mousse, gel, all that kind of stuff, yeah, it can stay. But for me, since I don't like using a lot of product and I like my hair more on like the fluffy side, I make sure to braid my hair every night. The twist out on wet hair, this goes for braid outs too. Wet hair gives me the most tangles throughout the week. Second to that is the heatless blowout. And then third to that is what I recently did where I blow dried my hair first and then I did a twist out. That one I had almost no tangles. So there's that. Okay, the next one is going to be flexi rods.
This is how you slay your flexi rod set on blown out hair.
So this one I got from my girl, Nadia Pink. And she tried a style where she blow dried her hair and then she did flexi rods. And so this style kind of mimicked wand curls, but it was without the heat from the wand curler. So that's something to try if that's something that you guys are into. This style gives you lots of fluff. It gives you lots of volume, and which is what I like as well. So flexi rods is definitely a way to go. The next one is going to be sock curls. So I didn't hear about sock curls until I watched this girl. First of all, I love her channel and I don't ever watch her video to hear her pronounce her name clearly. Joelle, I don't know, but she is such a beautiful soul. And I watched her video on her sock tutorial. She has this method where she washes her hair, she stretches it with the Rev Air, and then she put in the sock curls and she only did 4 sections. This thing took literally like the putting the sock curls in no time. And she ended up waking up with a cute little wave pattern going on. Still fluffy, still big, still full of texture because of course it's natural hair and she didn't bone straighten it like mine is right now. So it had that texture, it had that fluff, but it was like wavy and you just know looking at it, it looked so regal. It was beautiful. So the next one that I have on my list is a wash and go. Now I know you're going to be like, a wash and go is not stretch, but I saw this video of this girl who stretched her wash and go using the Rev Air. She took big sections of her hair that was in a wash and go. It was already dried, and she just put it in the Rev Air on like a low setting, and she didn't leave it in for very long, and it elongated the curls. The curls were still kind of intact, but they were elongated. And I was like, this is such a cute little way to elongate your curls.
How good is this Rev Air at stretching wash and goes? Let's see. I'm turning the machine on its low heat setting, and I'm gonna try tension level 5. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't know if that did anything. Apparently it didn't do much. So I might do high heat and high tension on this side, but I'm afraid it's gonna like straighten it. So there's definitely a difference between low heat and high heat. Wow, I'm glad I did that because there is definitely a difference between low heat on tension 5 and high heat on tension 7.
So the next one that I have is Bantu knots. So you guys have probably seen people wear Bantu knots like in a style, but I first started wearing Bantu knots when I first started my natural hair journey, and it was so cute. Like I literally could not get enough of it. My hair was maybe like this length when I first started, and so when I would do a Bantu knot, it would come up to here, and it kind of looked like a very voluptuous bob, which was super cute. I used to do that on straight hair, like flat iron hair, and then also blow dried hair. I remember watching this girl's video one time. Her name was Kiana Naomi. Anyway, I watched her video on hair one time, and she was saying that her grandmother recommended her to stretch her hair.
My grandma's a hairstylist, and she said, start blow drying your hair. And I said, I will do whatever you tell me to do.
And that was going to help her with length retention. And so she did it, and she was doing it in a Bantu knotted style. And that's where I got it from. And after that, I was pretty much hooked. I was like, this is super cute. Like, I like this. I like the volume. So that is something that you guys can try as well. Okay, last but not least, we're talking straight natural.
Chloe, I'm a straight natural, and you should be too. Pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Maintenance. You really don't have to do much to your hair. All you have to do is wrap it up when you go to sleep, take the bonnet off, and brush it out in the morning. It also saves you money because you don't have to buy a ridiculous amount of natural hair products. Another pro is length retention. I grew my hair from this to this in 1 year by getting silk presses and shrims consistently. In terms of cons, one thing might be cost barrier because these deposit demons are taking everybody's money, and it's expensive to go see a stylist every single month to get your hair pressed and trimmed. Another con, when it gets hot outside, you can't wear your hair like this.
So if you guys are on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you probably heard of the term straight natural, which I don't really know how I feel about the term. I don't really think too much into it, honestly. Sorry guys, I'm checking the audio, making sure that's good. I don't really think too much into it. I know some people are like, oh, straight natural doesn't really exist because you're straightening your hair. It's not in its natural state, like you straighten it, whatever. But when I think of straight natural, I just think of like you straighten your natural hair, like you don't have a perm and you wear it like that for majority of the time. That is your go-to style. And I have been a straight natural many times. So I kind of want to do a little segment on this because I have learned some things. So before giving up weave in the past, I would straighten my leave out. And if you guys follow my hair extension videos, you know how I did my sew-in. It was in such a way that I had a lot of hair left out because I found that that gave me the maximum versatility. So with having all this hair left out, you guys know you get textures that are curly, or I used to get raw hair that was curly, but it still wasn't my exact texture. So I still had to do some kind of manipulation to my hair to get my hair to match the bundles. So what I ended up doing a lot of the time was either going full blown flat iron, or I would do a flat iron and then do twists in the hair. That was like the way that I did my hair. And I noticed with that, I was not retaining length on my hair. And I always thought, it's the flat iron. That's why I'm not retaining length. But I did not know until giving up weave and then going a period with wearing my hair straight because it was so short. I did not really like it. I would straighten it once in the course of like 3 weeks. I know that sounds gross to some people. Girl, you're going 3 weeks without washing your hair? Gross, I know, but that worked for me. Not straightening my hair over and over and over again is what worked for me. I was really not able to retain length when I was wearing hair extensions because I would be straightening it constantly, like every morning almost, putting heat on my leave out, and no wonder my hair was like freaking burning, you know? When you go to just doing your hair once on wash day, and you don't straighten it again until your next wash day, you don't apply any type of heat until your next wash day, that is the way to go if you do want to wear your hair straight. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck doing it that way. So you guys may be thinking, how do you style it? How do you do it? The way that I do it is with those flexi rods. I use these things to do little curls to kind of get this little bump thing here. And if my hair is not super, straight, it doesn't matter. I find having volume, having movement, having texture, that is in for me. That is it for me. I think that my hair was meant to be big because the Lord gave me curly, coily hair. And that's why I have always gravitated toward big, frizzy, messy kind of hair. So if my hair does get a little bit of humid, which doesn't really get humid where I'm located, but if my hair does get a little bit humid or, I decide to work out, I take a hot shower, the steam hits me, just go and wrap it and it's going to fall down and it's not going to be perfect, but that's beautiful.
Are you ready to channel your inner 70s icon? Let me show you how to create the perfect fluffy curls that scream glam, bounce, and volume. This look is inspired by the classic effortless beauty of the 70s with these soft, airy curls that turn heads wherever you go. Think if Farrah Fawcett had 4C hair and blew it out and then curl it with the time of airflow. My hair stays protected while looking smooth and shiny with no frizz, no damage, just fabulous fluffy curls. This tool has completely transformed my styling routine and I know it will for you too. Whether you're heading out for a night on the town or just want to feel like a 70s queen at home, this look is so versatile and fun to create.
If you don't want to do that, use pin curls. Pin curls is another way. You can utilize buns in your hair, but I wouldn't do that too often. Okay, I would kind of maybe lean more toward hair clip because I've had bad luck with like wearing my hair in tight ponytail scrunchies and stuff. It tugs my hair. So instead, I do a lot of like hair clips. So you can do that. You can flexi rod your hair at night. You can always wrap your hair again too. I don't wrap my hair anymore. Surprisingly, I used to do it so much. I don't do it anymore because I don't like flat hair on me. So straight natural, you totally can retain length being a straight natural. I know some people are afraid of heat. That has never been my problem. I don't know if it's because of the type of hair that I have. I have read something like I'll go online. People are like, oh my gosh, like I used flat iron on my hair one time and like my curls are dead. And I'm like, wow, like that's crazy because like for me, my curls are there to stay. They don't go anywhere. But I tell you what will damage my curls, bleach. I'm never messing with again. I've honestly come to grips with dark hair suits me better. And if my goal is length retention, I'm not touching the bleach. Bleach ruins my hair like no other. So that's pretty much what I have for this video. If you guys have stretch styles that you like to wear or you have mastered your wash and go, let me know down in the comments what you do and what you use. I'm always looking for new ways to do my hair. Other than that, I thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.